Face reality, people. Movies are dead. Games are dead. Narrative? Dead.
Media is nothing but neural trigger response and viral conditioning.
Wait, what are you two talking about?
All right. So with all the Shohei Ohtani things, as far as videos we've made, Shohei Ohtani and his translator, LeBron James and steroids, NBA players and referees and the league kind of manipulating the game itself. I'm saying, like, hey, why not stay on theme with all of this and go over looks like a radio interview of Tim Donaghy. And if you don't know him, he's considered a quote-unquote disgraced referee who gambled on the sport that he was refereeing in. And here's the thing that I think basketball fans, and I think sports fans in general, but let's just go with basketball fans, you need to realize that this guy did not just go in here and like shave points or like call unfair calls for the sake of his gambling. He didn't, trip a player as he's running down court, but oh shit, travel, like call travel on him, right? He didn't throw a game.
They would never call travel. What are you talking about?
Whatever. He didn't do any of that shit. He didn't do anything like shady like that. All he did was he knew how the league wanted games refereed, and he gambled off of that. That needs to be hard sunken into for the mind of a sports fan. Just like PEDs of like how many players are on it. Like you need to really think about it.
And you should link that NBA 2016 NBA finals is rigged too, bro. Because that's literally like, that shit opened my eyes. Yeah, like, this shit is crazy.
Looks a little crazy after Game 4.
It's literally showing you how the league was mandating the refs. Call this, don't call that.
This guy's an NBA referee.
Former NBA referee who went to jail for what was the technical terms? Was it fraud or something like that? I don't know.
Gambling on games that he ref.
Yeah, he gambled on the league he was refereeing in, which I guess is suspicious enough. But I kind of believe him when he wasn't out there just rigging games. I think he was following the league's mandates and just like knowing what the odds would be. Just like a player knowing that this guy's maybe hurt today, or that guy just got divorced and he's gonna fuck up his game. He's not gonna play as good, or whatever. Or coach ain't gonna play this guy because he got mouthy at practice. Like guys just knowing things like that can influence in regards to betting, in regards to gambling. And this guy was super duper accurate. That's another thing that needs to be recognized. This guy, Tim Donaghy, as far as like the odds he was passing on to the guys who would go to Vegas and make these bets, he was super accurate. I think it was like in the 80th percentile or something like that as far as accuracy, which is insane for a gambler, right? To be 80% correct.
Whether he left the game or not, right?
Yes. I believe so.
How many games was it that he was reffing that he bet on?
Oh, jeez. I don't have exact numbers for that.
But there were some that he was the ref in the game?
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
That he bet on?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's problem.
But it's more about the mandate that he knew was coming down from the league on how certain games were going to go as far as calls being called or calls not being called on players or teams.
Yes.
So he'd be like, this person, if they're not going to call traveling and this person's in the game, he's going to do this good. But if they do call traveling, this player can't do what he does.
So, Dubster, basically, the NBA, he's basically, if I had to guess, he's basically saying the NBA has a script just like the Stone Cold and fucking The Rock had a script. And he knows he knows how the script's going to be played out on a team-by-team basis or with certain players within the team.
Yes. And this has been, if I had to guess, been going on for a long time.
20% of the time? He still got it wrong 20%
No, that was me like kind of making it. I'm pretty sure he was a very high, like relative to other gamblers. I'm pretty sure he's like relatively like the top percentile of accuracy, just by knowing what the league wanted. And sorry, like if you're whether you're a LeBron fan or a Kobe fan or a Jordan fan, I think these things play out in all of their time periods. Like, hey, Jordan's upset about the calls. Guess what? The refs, just to please Jordan or please a star athlete, the league might be like, hey, you guys are missing these calls against our star athlete. Change the call, change the rules. Like, or I call more fouls for this guy. Do that.
Well,
Same thing with Kobe. Same thing with LeBron. Remember when LeBron complained to the media, like, yeah, I don't think I'm getting calls out here. All of a sudden, he's getting a shit ton of calls.
You just said it was. There's a script to the point where it's almost like wrestling. If they allowed betting for wrestling,
They
TV
do.
Wrestling,
They do.
Oh, really? So
They do.
you, as the ref of the match for Undertaker versus Mankind, I'm betting on the winner. I forgot who won. It was Undertaker.
Yes.
So
and
if I bet on Undertaker being the ref, and they okay,
it's that thing is wrestling's different. It's different.
It's different because this shit has an illusion of fairness and parity.
Legit. Yeah,
it has an illusion of legitimacy. Yes.
Yes, and you'll hear things like D Wade in 2006, right, in the finals, where he's shooting like 20-something fucking free throws a game, and they're like, what the fuck? Like, damn, he's drawing all these fouls. Like, well, that could have been a league prerogative at that time period.
Yeah.
and yet that's probably
Jerk in
not
another year.
That's not the importance of what this guy's about to say, is it? The illusion of NBA is fair.
No, that is like that there's he's gonna say like there is an illusion about that it isn't like from top down mandated as far as how games need to be pushed and moved from rules to fucking to the game itself. If I want to slow down a team, right? If you're the fucking Showtime Lakers and I want to slow the team down, I put fucking Magic Johnson in foul trouble. Now the game slows down because he's the guy who's pushing the ball up court every time, right? He's the fucking point guard doing that. Just put him in foul trouble. Now the game slows down.
Great. So why do we still watch these sports? Because they're not real.
Because people don't know this shit, Dubster.
They don't know this shit. When people
do.
Let me say this, Dubster, before I play the video. What people think of when they hear Tim Donaghy, when they hear this guy, they think what it means is that he's actually in the game and he's rigging the game, like he's rigging it. I mean, he is in a way, but
he's being told to rig it.
Yes,
so he's rigging it, but he's rigging it from orders.
Yes, that's different. That's different than him needing like, okay, I need Kobe to score 20 points, so whenever Kobe shoots a shot, I'm going to call a foul. Right, where he's like personally, for his own personal reasons, doing that. No, he's just reading what the league is mandating, which is rigging to me. If you actually look at it, it may be quote unquote soft rigging, but it's still rigging.
So basically, he's a fall man for the CEO.
Yes,
I would think so. No, I mean he was gambling on it. That's the difference. He tried to make personal profit off of that system.
Well, yeah,
but it was rigging that was happening.
He gets the order to rig. He takes advantage of it. He gets in trouble and goes to jail for it.
Yeah.
While the guy that came up with, "Hey, we need to rig it so that we can make billions,"
and Jordan brought this up. Yes, Jordan brought this up where they smeared him and they made him to be the only problem in the league, and that everything else was pristine.
Yes. And this needs to be realized when you watch any professional sport. But
this guy is the fall guy.
I would think so. He stepped out of the right. He broke the rules of the council. He started trying to make personal money off of it. When it's supposed to be like you broke the rules of the mafia. We had these rules in the mafia. Don't open your fucking mouth, and you broke it.
And now he's doing interviews for his revenge. Now that he's out.
Admitted that. Yeah, he admitted the Cosa Nostra. He's not supposed to admit that. He's not supposed to admit to the illegal fucking enterprise. He admitted that the enterprise is illegal.
All right, let's hear him out. Here we go. Let's refresh.
I picked the games based on relationships that existed between referees and players, referees and coaches, and referees and owners, and what took place in the morning meetings with the referees and what was going to be called that night and how a team was going to be put at an advantage or disadvantage.
So you're saying when you would call in a bet and be like, hey, take this side, you wouldn't then make sure that you called more fouls against the team that you bet against? Like,
no, I knew what the crew was going to go out and do that night and how a team was going to be put at an advantage. Maybe there was an emphasis that day on Kobe Bryant going to the basket, and there was a DVD sent in last week of plays that were missed by the referees. So I knew when the league came in and said, hey, listen, there's a problem here. Phil Jackson just sent in this DVD, 25 plays, Kobe getting fouled and nobody blowing the whistle. I knew the three of us were going to go out that night, and he was going to go to the line 25 times, and they were going to win by 15. So I picked the games based on...
That's wild, bro.
That is rigging. That is rigging. It sounds...
This is not a sport. This is not a sport anymore.
That's sports in general, bro. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah. Imagine the NFL, dude. Oh, my God.
Just calls alone, balls and strikes in baseball. Like, there's so many fucking things that are on that can happen here.
These sports are no longer sports. Whenever this started occurring, what he just described, whenever that started occurring, it was no longer a sport.
Dubster, but that's the problem, Dubster. You have a human element, and the human element by nature is subjective.
Yeah.
So that you can never take
subjectively. Don't arrest me for gambling on games I'm the referee for.
Well, come on, we're dealing with society here, right? As far as like these are set kind of rules.
You'll never take the subjectivity out of each human beings one by one. And so the league. First of all, the league answers to the fucking teams. So if the teams go to them bitching, they have to do something to placate the teams. So they're gonna start telling their employees, "Yo, do this or do that."
Imagine it's the Colosseum back in the Roman times, and you like this gladiator more than the other one. So you wait for this gladiator to get close to you, then you toss a sword in on his side, and then you go to the bookie and say, I'm betting on the one that just got the sword.
Well, I think it's different. It's not a it's multi-layered. It kind of is I like this guy over this guy, because if Phil Jackson went to the league and was like, look at these plays, Smush Parker is getting fouled in all these calls or all these plays, and you're not calling it, David Stern's gonna be like, Smush Parker, I don't give a shit. But if you say Kobe Bryant, now it is like important, right? Because it's a star player that has marketing value. So I think it's kind of rigged in that way, but it's also like they're breaking this idea of being consistent with their calls, right? That to me, I think is the most glaring rigging part, as well as the star aspect. But it's like, yo, you missed these calls on this game, so now we're going to change how these particular refs view the rules. We're going to change their subjectivity into something else, which means in one game you're getting one set of rules, and in another game you're getting a different set of rules. That to me is like super duper glaring, and I think that sounds more like it's innocent kind of on the surface, like, oh, they're doing makeup calls. Like, people talk about makeup calls, that sounds okay, but not in it comes off as like that's still rigged. Go ahead.
Go back to my gladiator analysis or example, and that gladiator receives the sword from the guy that's going to now bet on the one that just got the sword. Now, the rest of the audience should be like, hey, that's fucked up. Why does he get a sword and the other guy doesn't? But they don't realize that this guy that is betting now on him was the one who tossed the sword in. And it's like, okay, well, you're still going to have some of your audience. The audience didn't see that shit clearly, but the rest of the people that saw it be like, hey, this is fucked up. But it's still to the point of, yeah, you're going to lose some people for your sport because this is what's happening. You're rigging the gambling. You're allowing the gambling. You're rigging the gambling. Well, then I shouldn't gamble if they're allowed to rig it. But you're going to have the other people are like, Oh, I don't care if it's rigged. I'm still betting on my luck. Was I lucky enough to bet on the guy even after it was rigged?
Okay. Well, fuck. How to explain? I think it's multi-layered because it's. Let's use your gladiator reference. Uh, it's fuck. It's that the league knows it has star players. They have a star gladiator, right? Now maybe both guys get swords, but the star one complains they have a dull sword. Like my sword's not, it's not sharp enough. I'm not gonna be able to kill anyone with this thing. So the league says, okay, take that sword away and give him this sharper and bigger, like bigger advantage, this giant fucking super sword, right? To help him out.
Sure.
But if the guy who isn't a star player complained about it, he wouldn't get that. He'd be like, yo, shut up. Use what you got. Use your little dull sword. Like, use your shit.
Yeah.
Okay, you with me so far?
And the audience witnessed some of this.
But they accept it because it's the star player. Like, he's supposed to be getting.
Hold on.
He's supposed to score 25 or 28 or 30 points per game.
No. It's the people that see the switching of swords will be like, I'm done betting. Fuck this. This is rigged. But the people that didn't see that it was rigged like that would be continuing to bet.
No. It's people who saw it are the ones that bet more and more because they're going to be winning and picking up more and more money. Right? There are professional gamblers who are not referees, I'm saying like people who are just in the crowd, like to your reference, people just in the crowd can see this guy's getting a bigger, better sword because he's a star player. He's the mountain or something like that. So they bet on the mountain, like they see the advantage. But then you have someone who's the actual like sword creator, right? The guy who makes the swords, and he knows this guy has an advantage. It's like insider trading, I guess, right? Like, I know this guy has a better sword than this guy. Thus, even though it's not me dictating who gets a better sword, I'm just seeing that this is what the fucking Coliseum overlords are telling us. Give this guy this sword and give this guy this sword. Give this guy the big, super duper sharp, super giant fucking sword and give this guy a piece of shit sword. I know that because they told me to do that. Thus, I can gamble and be like, yo, the guy with the better sword, who may be a better fighter as well. I know the bet on that guy. Like it's multi-layered and multi-rigged if you actually want to look at it.
How many likes does this video have? 1.3 thousand.
Yeah, I don't know the views right.
So 1.3 thousand people are now informed a little better.
Well, there's more. This is a YouTube short. There's more and more videos of this guy talking, but at a certain point, I wouldn't be surprised if people viewed him as like, oh, you're doing this for attention. You're writing a book or something like that. But I still look at it and be like, is this possible? And then you look at the evidence, right? And it's like, this seems extremely possible. Like, it's already there on the surface of people talking about, like, star players getting calls. Like, oh, that's a star player call when, LeBron drives to the basket and gets a foul called for him. Like, right? If that was some other guy, that wouldn't happen. And we know that. We accept it as fans.
I kind of just feel like it needs to be an after-school special at this point. Don't bet unless you know the insider trading, because you don't really get in trouble for insider trading until
I'll do you one better.
The referee guy.
I'll do you one better. The fans should be watching the league and be like, yo, call a foul, call a travel, call all calls equal across the board. If you in particular as a referee is a little biased in one direction or another, like that's you personally. That's not because the league mandated that you treat someone differently. And there's a story from Tim Donaghy about Allen Iverson, where it's like, yo, every time he dribbles, he carries. Now we don't call it because the league isn't like, they don't want us to enforce it. But one day we became rebels, right? And Allen Iverson said something like threatening to one of our friends or one of our other referees. So what we did was we fucking like gave him grief all day and night, and Allen fucking knew it. Allen Iverson fucking knew they were giving him grief. I should find that clip and like put it in here.
Iverson had some history with Steve Javie, and they had some issues going back and forth. The last couple games he had officiated, and the last game, Iverson had threatened Javie that he was going to kill him. And, we as a officiating staff felt that Iverson should have been suspended they didn't suspend him, they just fined him. So I had the next game that he was playing in, and the three of us, when we officiated that game, came to the conclusion that we were going to kind of stick it to him by calling palming violations on him, something that he did every night and was let go. So we went out and each of us had called a palming violation on him that night.
I'll tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to run this game. That's Steve Jabby right there. Yep, I agree 100%. I mean, he does that every time down the floor. He does that every time he puts it on the floor. Yeah. But that's just Steve Jabby telling Alan that I'm running the show out here. Don't try to show me up by shaking your head wishing you had a car. And now we have the brotherly fans. Letting Steve Jabby know.
But
It's the same guy right here.
Same guy said that story. Yes.
Okay.
So, sorry, like sports fan. This isn't just basketball, man. Sports fans, wake up, wake the fuck up, look into it. I think there's more going on in your sports than you fucking realize. But just like I said with PEDs, but who knows if people, because it might affect their own fandom, maybe their own team or their own player they like. Maybe it affects them and they don't want to like look at shit like that. But this is very prevalent. And this is not to blame players either, by the way. Like, yeah, Kobe, LeBron, Jordan, any of these players are going to complain when they feel like they're fouled and they're not getting foul calls. They're all going to complain. It's just, what does the league want to happen here? What if Kobe was with his rape allegation? Like, what if it was like kind of universal? Like, oh, Kobe's guilty. Everyone thinks Kobe's guilty. Everyone, but you can't lawfully kill his contract, right? You're stuck with him for another 3 or 4 years. Then it's like, oh, what if refs start, going against him to try to get him out of the league? What if he gets Barry Bonds, where he gets kind of blackballed out of the league? It's like, yeah, that's a form of rigging. They're rigging it against that guy to get him the fuck out of here. They didn't do that with Kobe, right? They ended up becoming celebrated, but they did with Barry Bonds, right? They kind of like blackballed this dude out of the fucking league. I'm telling you, man.
With steroid allegations?
Because of that shit, because he didn't technically test positive in the league to where they can suspend him and all that shit. He was kind of forced out of the league.
I don't know what Barry Bonds, how they forced him out. I don't know that story.
Well, it's like if no one will sign you, right, after your contract expires, even though you're very capable of still playing.
And you're not playing.
And no one will touch you, even though you're still putting up productive numbers, right, for organizations that are worth billions of dollars, where like his hitting can affect your billion-dollar organization. It can increase your value. Like, yeah, we're not touching him. Like, yeah, those things happen. I think Roger Clemens went through the same exact thing. It is what it is. All right. Point is, please pay attention and go down these rabbit holes for your favorite sport, your favorite player, any of it. Please do that. Any last words, anyone?
No.
Fuck the sports of the day. Let's bring back the gladiator games.
Spoken like a true Republican. All right. There's our video.
I mean, the Hunger Games, sorry.
Socialist? Is that socialist? Whatever. All right. There's the end of our video. Enjoy it.